So here at Newport News Shipbuilding, you guys have made an enormous investment because we've said in order to maintain the finest Navy that the world has ever known, we've got to make sure that there is an orderly process whereby we are continually upgrading our ships, building new ships, maintaining our ships properly. And these are some big ships. So it's expensive and it's complicated. And you've got 5,000 suppliers all across the country. And you've got to have some certainty and some knowledge about how things are going to proceed over the long term for Mike and others to plan properly. So you're rightly concerned, Mike is properly concerned about the impact that these cuts will have on not just this company, but companies and small businesses from all 50 states that supply you with parts and equipment. Mike was telling me that you guys have already made $1 billion worth of capital investment. You got $500 million in training costs as you recruit and hire new people. Well, those aren't commitments that you make lightly. You've got to have the capacity to plan and have some certainty in terms of what it is that we're going to be doing. And you know that if Congress can't get together and plan our nation's finances for the long term, that over time some of your jobs and businesses could be at risk. Over the Norfolk Naval Station, the threat of these cuts has already forced the Navy to cancel the deployment or delay the repair of certain aircraft carriers. One that's currently being built might not get finished. Another carrier might not get started at all, and that hurts your bottom line. That hurts this community. Because of these automatic cuts, about 90,000 Virginians who work for the Department of Defense would be forced to take unpaid leave from their jobs. So that's money out of their pockets, money out of their paychecks. And then that means there's going to be a ripple effect on thousands of other jobs and businesses and services throughout the Commonwealth. Because if they don't have money in their pockets or less money in their pockets, that means they're less able to afford to buy goods and services from other businesses. So it's not just restricted to the defense industry. All told, the sequester could cost tens of thousands of jobs right here in Virginia. But it doesn't just stop there. If the sequester goes into effect, more than 2,000 college students would lose their financial aid. Early education, like Head Start and Early Start, would be eliminated for nearly 1,000 children, and around 18,000 fewer Virginians would get the skills and training they need to find a job. Across the country, these cuts will force federal prosecutors to close cases and potentially let criminals go. Air traffic controllers and airport security will see cutbacks, and that could cause delays at airports across the country. Tens of thousands of parents will have to scramble to find childcare for their kids. Hundreds of thousands of Americans will lose access to primary care and preventive care like flu vaccinations and cancer screenings, including more than 3,500 children right here in Virginia. So these cuts are wrong. They're not smart. They're not fair. They're a self-inflicted wound that doesn't have to happen. Now, the reason that we're even thinking about this sequester is because people are rightly concerned about the deficit and the debt. But there's a sensible way of doing things, and there's a dumb way of doing things. I mean, think about your own family, right? Let's say that suddenly you've got a little less money coming in. Are you going to say, well, we'll cut out college tuition for the kid. We'll stop feeding the little guy over here. We won't pay our car note, even though that means we can't get to work. That's not what you do, right? You step back and you say, what is it that's important? Our child's education, making sure they're healthy, making sure we can get to the job, keeping our house, repaired. And then you say, here are the things that aren't so important. And you cut those out. You prioritize. And you make smart decisions. Well, we should be doing the same thing. Now, I've laid out a plan that details how we can pay down our deficit in a way that's balanced and responsible. We have the plan right on a website, the White House website. Everybody can go see it. It details exactly how we can cut programs that don't work, how we can raise money by closing loopholes that are only serving a few as opposed to the average American. We detailed $930 billion in sensible spending cuts that we're willing to make.